Everybody has their own way of working the microphonium.
I like to close talk my mic and leave the gain low so it doesn't pick up any of the crap that happens in the room.
Microphonium.
All I know is I got a new name for my recliner, the Lazy Bastard.
That's right, everybody should have one.
That's a registered Timtron trademark.
Yeah, that goes back as far as the squeaky chair does.
Dave, did you know that I have an identical squeaky chair to Bill W3DUQ's? And we used to have dueling chairs. Did you ever hear that?
No. Do you have, what, the 1895 wooden office chair? Because I have one of those, too.
No, the 1940 military style would have fit in really good with the desk kill on if you had the desk. It's this beautiful extruded aluminum four-posted base, like that.
You mean, let's make it as heavy as we possibly can. Yes, I'm familiar with those. I always thought Uncle Wally's was a real ancient one.
They call those tankers chairs.
I don't remember, and I was there. I sat in Bill's chair. I don't remember, though. Might have been psychoactive substances involved. But my chair squeaked about the way his did if I would rock back and forth in it, gently. And we used to do dueling chairs.
There's no way a metal chair and a wooden chair are going to sound alike, so if they sounded alike, then you probably have it.
I wonder whatever happened to his chair.
As I understand it, this came from him when he moved out of there. When he moved out of Icedale, I guess to the old folks' home, he removed some belongings from the trailer and they dragged it to a landfill and pushed it over a cliff.
Yeah, well, that's what I understand.
So I'd have to imagine that, the chair went with it, but somehow the 5868 amp survives, and Perry's looking at it.
I know. I didn't know you knew that. I basically tucked it under wraps. Perry was talking about it, and he sent me some photos. I was like, wow. Shades a long time ago, so he took a lot of photos. The thing internally is a JS mess. Bill was a JS artist.
That I didn't know, but I saw the pictures too, and I concluded that it had been on 11 meters.
Yeah, looking at the thing and looking inside, it was like, my God. But I told Perry, in terms of negotiations, the real expensive components is that big-ass UTC plate transformer. And the rest of the power supply stuff, that's not with it.
W3DUQ. Well, I don't know from that. And I apparently the seller is not a hand, but anyway, I had just, let you know, I knew about it. It was cool to see the pictures of it.
WA1HUR.
W2BTK.
Didn't he give up on that thing, and he had a 10-tech amp done up by the Slab Bacon there, Tim, the Derb. And that's when he stopped using that thing, because I thought that's how it went.
No. Allegedly, the old trailer was just taken. I was told it was pushed over a cliff. It's like, oh my God. All that stuff.
I want to know what happened to the mason jars full of house gas that he had in the trunk.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I didn't know he had that.
He might have taken it to where he lived, the last place there, the assisted living, and handed it out.
It might explain why he ended up with restless leg syndrome.
There are a number of things that would explain that.
What?
Well, I think there's a story that doesn't seem to want to be told, or he didn't really tell as to why he wound up there and just gave up life.
Yeah, I know after his dad died, that seemed to be kind of the point in time where he just didn't have it anymore.
I think his dad lived into his 90s.
Yep.
Bill was a regular visitor. In fact, I think Bill might have phone patched him or some sort of crude remote from there. But yes, he was very devoted to his father and visited him often. And I think Bill, after Bill ended up in the same place himself. I understand it happened after he had suffered restless leg syndrome and had to relearn how to walk and had trouble with that. And that's when he checked himself in.
I wonder what causes restless leg syndrome.
There actually is a couple different things that causes it. It's usually nerve damage, some kind of nerve damage. I have restless leg syndrome. It's not real bad. Mine is actually a nerve condition, and it's exacerbated by sugar in my case, but a lot of things can make it really bad.
Interesting. Bill claimed it was a side effect of a medication that he was taking.
I remember that.
Very possible.
To me, the whole thing was sad. When he moved in there, he'd call me on the phone, and his cell phone audio was so bad. I had trouble understanding him. I'd have to have him repeat himself, and it was as though he sounded like he was heavily medicated, and at times not really making sense. And every time he'd call, we'd talk for about a half hour or more, and I'd come away from it feeling very depressed.
Wow, that's the first time I had heard of that. Jesus. And for those listening that don't know, we're discussing Bill Nagel, W3DUQ, who was... well, you wouldn't have AM on a flex radio without him. And he was a mentor to Rams, W2JBL.
Yeah, he was my mentor. He, huge influence in my life when I was younger.
Same here.
And in my thoughts, he died way too early. I figured, well, his dad lived into his 90s, and usually the genes carry over, so so Bill, if he took care of himself, would have probably lived as long. And right now, he'd probably with us. He had me by about 8 or so years in age, maybe a little bit more than that, but not a whole lot.
I don't understand that myself either. What happened? His father was
97. Is it possible that he had Parkinson's? Because that is one of the ways that you can have restless leg syndrome. And since you were saying you were having difficulty understanding them and stuff like that, that's also another symptom of Parkinson's.
Yeah, well, hard to tell. He would often get off on a tangent about how the extraterrestrials were around the corner. He was very much into alternative science.
Sounds like he was a real interesting guy.
No, believe me, he was.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Neither do I, but he still sounds like he was real interesting.
He was very interesting. A fount of knowledge and human logic.
Radio Free Harlem.
Yep. I made a copy of the master tape of W3DUQ. And I had it in my collection of stuff, but the fire got it.
Everything's going digital now.
Of Icedale, Pennsylvania. He was, he was Mr. AM among other things. I first heard him in November of 1960 on a 2-tube regenerative receiver my father had given to me. And before that, I was trying to listen to sideband on this thing, which didn't work. Sideband. And CW, which I had no interest in. And all of a sudden I hear these guys having fun, working break-in with hi-fi audio. This is 1968. And these were there was like 10 people on AM in 1968. It was dead. The FCC was trying to kill it. And this guy was keeping them around, and, people were having a lot of fun. It was a really good scene, and that's why I got into ham radio.
Yeah, those were really good times. 68. Actually, the first time I heard Bill was in the hot August night in 1966 when I was a boot. The band was laden with static, and he and Dave ZRF were on there like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I tried to break in with my Crapbox 40. And Bill couldn't hear me. He could tell that I was there, but Dave heard me well enough, and we had a brief exchange. But, that was back in the day when I'd have the receiver on, and it'd be on a, perhaps, God knows, weekday or more a weekend around 8 o'clock at night. A carrier would come on, and then the music. Good evening. You are listening to WRFH 3868 kilocycles here and there.
God bless. Paul W3DUQ sent me a CD a few years ago of a lot of historical recordings of AM back into the 50s. Harry W3FDY recording people on 33 1/3 lacquer discs and playing them back on the air. It's cool stuff. Parachute mobile on 10 meters. But I couldn't believe it when I heard it. But the first time that I heard Bill DUQ and, the Three Land guys around with a phone patch trying to call some friend of theirs that was military, Air Force, in Hawaii. And Uncle Willie was flirting with these operators. So they're trying to get to Hickam Field. That's what it was. That was the first QSO with those guys that I ever heard. And Paul sent me this CD of it, and the same QSO was on there. Man, I about passed out when I heard that.
Wow. Yeah, I've gotten a number of thumb drives and stuff. Bert JYU sent me up a a little SD mini card. Well, it has the adapter. And I have a digital audio recorder that uses SD cards, and you can also you use a USB patch cable to go into the pooter, which treats it like an external drive. And I've loaded all those recordings onto my internet computer and put it on a couple of hard drives. I've been archiving stuff as well.
W3DUQ. Cool. You know what? That'd be a good project for our millennials on here, Bill and Perry and a few others. Create a YouTube page for them or something. Get them out there in the world. The history of AM and 3885 post World War II. That'd be really great to get that out there. I'm going to get out of here and get some dinner going, and that's man, like 13 cars on the road today. You guys a bit later. I'm just enjoying this nice conditions and no static. I've been up here for 2 weeks, but I haven't had a quiet night since I got here. So I'll see you all later. W3JBL Portable 2 near Old Forge, New York. Good night, Erwin Richard, wherever you are.
Yeah, well, Chris.
Yes?
Just so you know, anytime that I'm on the radio, you hear me in a QSO, I'm live streaming on Twitch. It all gets recorded, not just audio, but a spectrum display, a waterfall, like the entirety of everything that's going on is on there. And I pick and choose like highlights, that I'll upload to YouTube as separate videos, but for the most part, every single QSO I'm in gets uploaded to YouTube. So the whole conversation you just had is gonna be on YouTube. I can make special videos and this and that, but just so you know, like, it's all out there. So anything you guys talk about, all this stuff, it's being documented and put out on the internet, and there's starting to be a few people that watch this stuff, so, I'm just throwing it out there. All the links are in my QRZ profile if you want to find them. W2BTK.
Well, I know that. I'm well aware of that, and I don't have a problem with it. But I was suggesting that maybe Tim or myself or other people that have, historical recordings of AM and 3885. We're talking going back, 30, 40, 50 years, and that's the foundation of why we're here today. If some of these people that we're talking about on here weren't on AM in the late 60s, early 70s to the mid 70s, you wouldn't be on AM. AM would be illegal. And I'm not joking about that. And it's just, there's apparently a good body of historical recordings of the wackos, the weenies, the losers, and the great people like Bill W3DUQ. The real entertainment is with the wackos over the years. I'd like to see some of that stuff get posted. Hell, geez, I could do it myself, but I'm involved with too much other crap. So that was what I was thinking about, Bill. 7-3, W2JBL.
Good night, and you're not exaggerating about any of that. W2VW.
Now it's time for Earn Bob and Empty Head in the Morning.
Send me recordings. Any media you want to send over, I'll make YouTube videos. I'm getting pretty good at it now.
Cool. You hear that, Tim?
Yeah, I got to put a bunch of stuff together on a thumb drive and send it down to you, Billy.
Yeah, please do. Always looking to put stuff on YouTube, whatever. And it's not like I'm just throwing it up there to throw it up. I have people that watch my YouTube stuff, or I'm starting to get some people that watch the stuff I upload. So it'll get some eyeballs on it.
Well, in this case, it would be their ear balls. It all depends on what kind of video you put with it.
Hey, man, in 50 years of AM, we've had it all. We even had a guy come out on the air one time.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
Oh, God. Tim, what was this called?
Was that the Spaceman?
WA1SEY.
I think he's still around.
I talked to him a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, God bless. And God bless him for having the courage to do that back then. W2JBL. Oh, God.
He got me in big trouble doing that.